For as long as she could remember, the guest had cherished this table, a stunning antique piece that had been part of her family's life since the 1930s. The story goes that her grandmother purchased it at an estate sale in Narragansett, Rhode Island, a place known for its historic mansions and well-heeled summer residents.
What, your grandmother paid for the table?
I have no idea.
Do you have any idea as to how old it is or where it was made?
What the guest didn't know, however, was just how special this piece truly was. It is a rare and magnificent Philadelphia-made Chippendale turret-top gaming table dating back to around 1760. Its exquisite craftsmanship, featuring intricately carved acanthus leaves on the knees, elegantly sculpted claw and ball feet, and fine imported mahogany, suggested it was the work of a highly skilled cabinet maker, likely commissioned by a wealthy 18th century family. Over time, the table had undergone refinishing, which affected its value slightly, but its historical significance and craftsmanship remained intact. With original cedar and tulip poplar secondary woods, beautiful patina on the underside, and an elegant expandable surface once used for high society card games and tea gatherings, the piece was nothing short of a museum-worthy treasure. In today's market, this table was worth between.
So the table is worth in the area of probably $250,000 to $350,000.
If it had retained its original finish, it might have been worth
maybe another $100,000 or $200,000.
The guest was overcome with emotion, her voice breaking with disbelief and joy.
Wow, I can't believe it.
Well, it's true.
I love it. It's always been in my life.
For generations, the family heirloom had been tucked away, a dazzling reminder of a bygone era, passed down from mother to daughter. The guest's grandmother first owned the exquisite necklace, purchasing it in the late 1800s in Atlanta before moving to New Jersey with her husband.
I know that my father inherited it from her, and then he married my mother. It was hers, and then when she passed away in 1988, I inherited it.
Though the guest knew the piece was valuable, she had only worn it once, on her wedding day, before carefully storing it away for safekeeping. Her sister had also worn it for her own wedding, but otherwise the necklace had remained untouched, waiting for its true significance to be uncovered. As the appraiser examined the piece, it became clear this was no ordinary family jewel. The necklace was an Edwardian masterpiece, crafted around 1905 in the early days of platinum jewelry. The dazzling diamonds and delicate pearls had been purchased from Phelps and Perry of Maiden Lane, New York, a jeweler known for catering to Wall Street's wealthiest patrons. Men who had made and lost fortunes in a heartbeat. But the real shock came when the appraiser calculated the diamond's weight. The center stone alone exceeded 5 carats, with the upper diamond nearing 2 carats, totaling over 7 carats of exceptional gems. Unlike many antique pieces where diamonds are removed, repurposed, or recut, this necklace remained completely original, even in its original box. Due to the soaring diamond market, the new estimated retail value wasn't just $10,000, it was a staggering
$250,000.
The guest gasped, laughing in disbelief, realizing she had unknowingly been safeguarding a priceless treasure for decades.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
This Tiffany Cypriot glass vase, inherited from the guest's mother's family, has been carefully displayed in a curio cabinet for the past 30 years. The guest always found it unusual, but had no knowledge of its history or value. It is a rare example of Tiffany Cypriot glass, a type of glass designed to mimic the textured, weathered surface of excavated Roman glass. The technique involved rolling hot glass on a table covered with crushed bits of glass, then reheating and shaping it into its final form. While Cypriot glass was first produced in the 1890s, this specific piece is from the 1920s, based on the P suffix in the signature, which dates it between 1926 and 1929. Most Cypriot glass was purple, gold, blue, or green, but this piece is red, making it exceptionally rare and highly desirable among collectors. Additionally, it features an applied clear foot, which is an uncommon variation. The estimated retail value for this vase is
something like this would be $25,000 in a retail store.
Leaving the guest shocked and realizing it might be time to get it insured.
Oh, maybe I better insure it. That's probably an excellent idea.
The guest's father had an eye for art, and back in the early 1970s, he made a bold purchase at an auction, a striking painting by W.H.D. Curran. For decades, the piece remained in the family, admired for its vivid storytelling and Western theme, but its true worth had never been professionally assessed. Curran, a self-taught illustrator, had an incredible journey in the art world. Born in 1878 to German immigrant parents in Ohio, he landed a job at the Chicago Tribune at just 20 years old, without any formal artistic training. Later, he honed his skills in New York under the same teacher as Norman Rockwell, eventually becoming one of the foremost illustrators of the American West. His works captured authentic details of frontier life, from cowboy attire to Western landscapes, all carefully researched to reflect history as accurately as possible. This particular painting, an oil on canvas from 1935, was used as an illustration for a story in the Saturday Evening Post. It's rich in dramatic tension, featuring a cowboy poised for a gunfight, complete with a rugged hat, a gun holster, several belt medallions, and hanging wristras, all signature elements of Curran's Western expertise. Interestingly, the artist appears to have expanded the composition mid-process, joining two canvases together, possibly to increase the scope of the action. When asked about his father's original purchase price, the guest estimated it at,
I believe it was around $30,000.
But today, if this painting were to be sold in a high-end gallery, it would be valued at a staggering.
I would expect the price to be around $150,000.
Really?
The guest, visibly delighted, had one simple reaction to the revelation. This first edition of the Book of Mormon belonged to the guest's great-great-grandfather, an early Texas Presbyterian minister who founded the City Temple Presbyterian Church in Dallas. The guest inherited it along with other books and has long wondered if it was an authentic 1830 first printing. It is indeed an original 1830 New York printing, one of 5,000 copies originally produced, a significant number for that time. Today, about half of those copies are known to exist. The book remains in its original sheepskin binding, though it is missing a couple of front pages which does not affect the text, and has water damage throughout, particularly on the title page and extending to the back. Despite these condition issues, the Book of Mormon is highly collectible, particularly within Mormon culture, where it is considered one of the most important books to own. While collectors prefer pristine copies, the rarity and historical significance of this volume still make it very valuable. The appraiser estimated a retail price of
$75,000.
Oh my goodness.
leaving the guest stunned.
Even with water damage?
Even with the water damage.
Oh my goodness.
This historic baseball was given to the guest by their great-uncle as a 13th birthday gift in 1961, just as Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris were chasing Babe Ruth's home run record. The guest took it along on a team road trip to Kansas City to watch the Yankees play the Athletics on August 27, 1961. While Mantle and Maris didn't hit home runs that day, Yogi Berra and Elston Howard did. At the end of the game, the guest's coach tucked the ball and returned with the signatures of both Mantle and Maris, adding to an already remarkable artifact. The baseball had already been signed by Babe Ruth in 1931, making it a rare intersection of two dominant eras in Yankees history. Ruth had set the home run record of 60 in 1927, and 34 years later, Maris broke it with 61 homers, while Mantle, who was also in contention, finished with 52 or 54 after suffering an injury. The ticket stub from the 1961 game further adds to the story. Given its extraordinary provenance, the ball was appraised at.
At auction, I'd put it up at about $30,000 to $50,000.
The guest was stunned by the unexpected value of their childhood birthday present.
I didn't ever dreamed of this.
This incredible literary archive belonged to the great-granddaughter of Francis Hodgson Burnett, the celebrated author of Little Lord Fauntleroy, The Secret Garden, and A Little Princess. The guest brought an astonishing collection of historically significant artifacts, including the first handwritten chapter of Little Lord Fauntleroy, a signed first edition of the novel, and documents related to Burnett's groundbreaking copyright lawsuit, which helped establish royalty rights for authors. Burnett's own son was the inspiration for Lord Fauntleroy.
And did he wear those kinds of outfits?
Yes, and I have those.
Oh, that's incredible.
The collection also contained a bracelet and ring inscribed from the authors in England, and a guest book from the real-life secret garden at Burnett's estate in Kent, signed by literary icons like Henry James and Richard Le Guyen. Individually, pieces like the signed book and jewelry had moderate value of
Book on its own, individually, would probably be about $1,000 at auction.
Okay.
And also, this jewelry, I understand, would probably have $3,000 to $5,000 on its own.
But as a complete archive, the estimated auction value is at.
Would likely at auction have a value of $75,000.
The guest was overwhelmed with excitement.
Wonderful.
We have here a stunning Guy Wiggins painting titled Old Trinity, New York Winter, which was purchased in Houston by the guest's father, a stockbroker with a deep appreciation for art.
He saw this painting in Houston in a gallery one time, and it was something that caught his eye, and he knew he had to have it and purchased it.
The guest recalls a special memory of visiting Wall Street with his father, who pointed out Trinity Church, the same landmark featured in the painting. Wiggins, known for his captivating New York winter scenes, was a prodigy who had a painting accepted into the Metropolitan Museum of Art at just 20 years old. His signature style features bustling, snow-covered streets, making this piece a prime example of his best work. The painting retains its original gallery label, showing a purchase price of $2,500 in the late 1950s or early 1960s. Wiggins was part of a family of painters, with both his father and son being accomplished artists. Though he painted Connecticut landscapes early in his career, he became best known for his atmospheric depictions of New York City in winter. His paintings capture the movement and energy of the city while evoking a sense of nostalgia. The interest in 19th and 20th century American paintings has surged in recent years, driving up prices. Because of Wiggins' enduring popularity, the estimated current auction value is at.
We would probably estimate it at $50,000 to $80,000.
The guest is clearly surprised at this information.
Yes, it surprises me.
These are my grandparents and their first baby, Susan.
The guest had spent her own childhood summers in the very same place, growing up with the painting as a constant presence in her life. But there was something extraordinary about this portrait. It wasn't just any family painting. It was signed by none other than Charles Courtney Curran, a renowned American impressionist painter. Curran, as it turned out, wasn't just a famous artist. He was a part of the family, having married the guest's great-aunt. He was known for his elegant depictions of women bathed in sunlight, standing against sweeping landscapes. His works often captured idyllic moments of American life, and in this case, it was a deeply personal one. The round format of the painting was a distinctive feature, a late 19th century artistic trend, and the gold-painted corners cleverly gave the illusion of a larger frame. While some might not like the circular style today, its romantic and timeless quality only added to its charm. The guest recalled that many of her relatives had once owned Curran's paintings, often selling them for,
I think they sold them for about $6,000 to $10,000.
In today's market, this particular Curran painting, with its captivating composition, personal history, and stunning portrayal of a woman in a white dress, could fetch.
It might bring around $75,000.
Oh my goodness.
The guest gasped in astonishment.
That's amazing. Wow.
The guests grew up in Biloxi, Mississippi, where their family had a deep connection to legendary potter George Ore.
I grew up in Biloxi, Mississippi, and my grandfather worked in the Ore studio. My grandmother was friends with George Ore's son, Geo.
Because of this, their family acquired several pieces of Ore's pottery, but for decades, they were seen as nothing more than everyday objects. In fact, one vase even went through a dishwasher.
This one has some little breaks here, and we had a cleaning lady who probably put it through the dishwasher. In fact, I'm sure she did.
It wasn't until recently that the guests began to wonder whether these items might have more significance than they realized. The collection includes several rare and highly collectible pottery pieces, such as a small jug with a photo of Ore's wife, Josephine, encased in cellophane. Only a hand of these jugs are known to exist, and most are missing their original coverings. The auction estimate for this piece alone is
$2,500 to $3,500, maybe $3,000 to $4,000.
Wow.
The guest also brought in two beautiful vases, one in striking blue and the other in deep green. Despite the green vase suffering damage, it retains an incredible value of.
I would estimate this one again for between $15,000 to $20,000,
Wow.
or maybe $17,000 to $22,000 in spite of the repair to the handle.
While the blue vase, in pristine condition, is worth
Between $15,000 and $20,000.
Perhaps the most unexpected treasures in the collection were bordello tokens created by George Ore himself. These small round tokens feature humorous and risque abuses, with some too inappropriate for public display. The guest's father kept them hidden, only revealing them once they were an adult.
Which is why my father didn't let me see these until I was in my 30s. And he gave them to my husband, not to me.
With a full set of 6 tokens, a rarity in itself, the estimated auction value for these is...
An auction estimate on these will be between, say, $5,000 and $7,000 for the 6 of them.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
It was my father's, and he died, and he had 6 of these paintings, and my stepmother gave one to each of his children.
This whimsical nautical painting is by none other than Ralph Kahune, a celebrated Cape Cod artist. The father acquired them in the late 1950s or early 1960s, and each of his children received one after his passing. Kahune, born in 1910, was known for his playful, folk art-inspired works, often featuring mermaids, sailors, and hot air balloons. This particular oil-on masonite painting includes 13 mermaids, a sailing ship, sailors, and an American flag, all set against a striking polar landscape. Kahune lived primarily in Cochute, Massachusetts, and his work gained significant recognition after his death in 1982. His paintings, often framed in Victorian-style frames, reflect a light-hearted, imaginative approach to maritime themes. The appraiser, who lived on Cape Cod and knew people close to Kahune, admired the painting's lively composition and humor. The original frame, likely chosen by Kahune himself, adds to the piece's authenticity. Given the increasing demand for Kahune's work, the estimated auction value is between...
And I think a good auction estimate would be $30,000 to $50,000.
Great.
The guest, clearly pleased, responded with satisfaction at the impressive valuation. This stunning set of Meiji period metalwork was an incredible flea market find. The guest, an Art Nouveau enthusiast with a love for floral and insect motifs, was immediately drawn to these intricately crafted pieces. She purchased them for $2,000, suspecting they were special but unaware of their true significance. They are actually the work of Showami Katsuyoshi, who lived from 1832 to 1908, a renowned swordsmith and metalworker. After Japan's ban on wearing swords in the Meiji period, many artisans shifted their skills to creating decorative art, such as these masterfully detailed pieces. The materials include copper, shakudo, which is a gold-copper alloy, shibuichi, which is a silver-copper alloy, and pure gold, showcasing the superb craftsmanship of the era. The rarity of the complete set significantly increased its value. At auction, the set was estimated at...
This set of pieces is worth between $20,000 and $30,000.
Leaving the guest laughing in disbelief, especially since she had to convince her husband to make the purchase.
And I had to really prod my husband to buy it.